I've just finished watching the first season of Reboot from 1994. It's the first time in many, many years I've actually sat down and watched the entire first season of the show from start to finish. Growing up, it was quite difficult to watch the entire show where I lived. I only ever had a Reboot VHS tape containing the first two episodes of the show, episodes being The Tearing and Racing the Clock. So I know those episodes better than any other of the episodes. But then it was just a case of watching it on TV whenever I could after school or whenever I had the opportunity to watch it. But basically, having started the show again from scratch just recently and finished season one, here are some of my thoughts. An absolutely awesome show, and it always has been. I've really enjoyed watching this first season, and I have already begun on season two. The show is basically set in a computer system world called Mainframe, and the three main characters, Bob, Dot, and her brother Enzo, keep Mainframe safe from dangers, including the virus villain Megabyte and Hexadecimal. Then, throughout the show, randomly a game cube will drop in Mainframe, forcing anyone caught in the cube to compete against the user.
Warning, incoming game. Warning, incoming game.
These games are usually a race to the finish, and Bob usually enters these games to beat the user because if the players lose and the user wins, the entire section of Mainframe gets what they called nullified, shuts down, and everyone turns into mindless nulls. Some standout episodes for me in season one are, of course, the pilot episode The Tearing, in which Bob and Dot have to stop Megabyte from opening a portal to the supercomputer, which features an awesome space battle game. And then episode two, Racing the Clock, Bob races against the clock, which unknown to him is actually a bomb in a awesome Formula One racing game. Dart and Enzo have to join the race to save him. I do have to say though that after watching episode one and two so much growing up, I soon realized that every episode after that in season one kind of lacks the same CGI and effects. It's like they put so much effort into episode one and two to make them look as amazing as possible. And then basically it was a rush to finish the rest of the season. Now, this was one of the first CGI TV shows, so I do understand it was incredibly difficult in what they were trying to achieve. But you can't help but notice from episodes three onwards, the characters' movements are much slower and the animation is not as good. And overall, it just lacks the quality of the first two episodes, in my opinion. That might be just me and what I've noticed, but that's what I kind of have observed in watching the whole season one. I really enjoyed the episode The Tiff, where Bob and Dot basically fall out with each other and they end up in a game of Starship Alcatraz, which is one of my favorite games in the show so far. They must learn to work together and put aside their differences. This was such a great episode and it was a real highlight for me. The episodes The Wizards, Warriors, and The Word from Our Sponsor was such a cool episode. It basically takes place in like an RPG style game, and they have to race to the bottom of the dungeon as different classes of like a fantasy RPG game. So being a wizard, an elf, a thief, and a warrior. Now I'm speaking purely from nostalgia, and I'm revisiting an amazing show from my childhood. If I came across this show today, it would nowhere near have the same impact that it has had on me when I was younger, and it would probably be laughably bad. I understand that, and the dated CGI and its cheesiness, it certainly wouldn't grasp my attention if I'd come across this show today. But I loved this show as a child, so I will always have that bias for the show. And but I do just think it's such a inspired concept, and I personally do not think that it's ever been beaten or replicated in any other TV show. I absolutely love the characters of Bob and Dot. There is like a hint of flirtation and a possible romance between them, which is always intriguing. But Bob is basically a guardian sent from the supercomputer to protect Mainframe, and Dot is a powerful businesswoman who owns the local Dot's Diner. She's very strong and courageous and always gets what she wants. She deeply cares for her brother Enzo and all the inhabitants of Mainframe. The part 2 season finale focuses on Dot and her need to believe in herself to achieve her goals after failure. That was another really big highlight for me. I absolutely love the character of Dot. I think she's such a great character to invest in and is really one of the best reasons to watch the show. I had the action figure toy line when I was a child. I had all the reboot figures, so I love to create my own storylines and game adventures. So it was a real treat to take this trip down memory lane and watch the show again. I've already started season 2, and I'm looking forward to keep watching the series till the end. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the rest of the show has in store. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing to my channel and giving this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you soon in the next video.
Game over.